Everything about life is balance. This is not a metaphor. It is not advice. It is not a comforting idea meant to make existence feel manageable. It is a structural truth, one that operates whether you believe in it or not. Before there were religions, philosophies, nations, or sciences, balance already existed. It governed the movement of stars, the rhythm of seasons, the chemistry of the body, and the silent negotiations between life and death. Human beings did not invent balance. We merely discovered it, usually after suffering from its absence. Balance is not morality. Nature is not interested in what feels fair to you. Nature is interested in equilibrium. When equilibrium is violated, correction follows. This correction may arrive gently, as fatigue, doubt, or discomfort, or it may arrive violently, as collapse, loss, illness, or existential crisis, but always arrives. Modern humans suffer not because life is cruel, but because we consistently misunderstand its rules. We chase excess and call it ambition. We glorify extremes and label them success. We avoid discomfort and mistake numbness for peace. Balance, by contrast, is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not seduce the ego. It does not promise constant happiness. It promises sustainability. This narration explores balance not as a self-help slogan, but as a philosophical principle, a psychological necessity, and a spiritual discipline. Not something you achieve once, but something you must continuously return to. 1. Balance is dynamic, not static. One of the most dangerous misconceptions about balance is the belief that it is stillness. Stillness belongs to death. Life is motion. Even when you appear at rest, billions of processes are unfolding within you. Cells divide, neurons fire, hormones fluctuate, breath rises and falls. Balance, therefore, cannot mean immobility. It means adaptive movement. The ancient Greeks understood this intuitively. Heraclitus observed that you cannot step into the same river twice, not because the river changes alone, but because you do as well. Balance is not found by freezing the river, but by learning how to step into it wisely. Psychologically, this matters deeply. People who seek permanent certainty become rigid. People who seek constant freedom become unstable. Both lose balance. Mental health is not the absence of fluctuation. It is the capacity to regulate fluctuation. Just as a tightrope walker survives by making thousands of micro-adjustments, a balanced life is built through continuous self-correction. You lean too far into work, your body pulls you back through exhaustion. You lean too far into pleasure, meaning drains away. You isolate too long, loneliness calls you home. Balance is not a destination. It is feedback in motion, not the kind of balance you force. Not perfection, not constant peace, but a living, breathing equilibrium, one that shifts, bends, and recalibrates every day. From the moment you inhale, you borrow from the future exhale. From the moment your heart beats, it prepares for rest. From the moment the sun rises, it is already moving toward night. Life does not reward extremes. It tolerates them briefly, then corrects them harshly. Balance is not a philosophy invented by monks or philosophers. It is the operating system of reality. Ignore it long enough, and life will restore it for you, often painfully. This is not a motivational speech. This is an observation. Every success, every failure, every joy, every loss, when examined deeply, reveals the same underlying truth. Imbalance creates suffering. Balance creates sustainability. This video is about understanding balance, not as an abstract idea, but as the invisible force shaping your body, your mind, your relationships, your ambitions, and your peace. 2. The body knows balance before the mind does. Your body is your first teacher of balance. Eat too little, and you weaken. Eat too much, and you suffer. Work without rest, and you break. Rest without effort, and you decay. Your muscles grow only when stressed and then allowed to recover. Your immune system strengthens by exposure, not isolation. Your nervous system thrives on cycles of activation and calm. Even pain exists to restore balance. Pain is not the enemy, it is feedback. It tells you something is misaligned. Modern life teaches us to numb discomfort instead of listening to it. But the body never lies. Ignore its signals long enough, and whispers become screams. Balance in the body is not about aesthetics, it is about rhythm. Move, rest, nourish, recover. Repeat. Point 3. The mind lies between control and surrender. Mental suffering often comes from imbalance, not trauma alone, but how we respond to it. Too much control leads to anxiety. Too much surrender leads to helplessness. A balanced mind understands what it can influence and what it must release. Trying to control everything exhausts the nervous system. Letting go of everything destroys responsibility. Wisdom lives in the middle. Think of the mind like a river. If you dam it completely, pressure builds until it breaks. If you remove all structure, it floods everything in its path. Balance gives the river direction without suffocation. This is why discipline without compassion becomes cruelty, and compassion without discipline becomes chaos. For emotions exist to be felt, not obeyed. Balance does not mean suppressing emotion, nor does it mean drowning in it. Emotions are signals and not commands. Anger highlights violated boundaries. Fear signals perceived danger. Sadness points to loss. Joy signals alignment. But when emotion becomes identity, imbalance begins. If you obey every emotion, your life becomes unstable. If you suppress every emotion, your inner world becomes toxic. Balance means feeling fully without acting blindly. You acknowledge emotion without surrendering your steering. Point 5. Ambition and contentment must coexist. One of the greatest lies told to modern humans is that you must choose between ambition and peace. That wanting more means you cannot appreciate what you have. This is false. Imbalance occurs at both extremes. Ambition without contentment creates endless dissatisfaction. Contentment without ambition creates stagnation. The balanced life says, I'm grateful for where I am and committed to where I am going. You can love your life and still work to improve it. Growth is not an insult to the present. 6. Relationships thrive on reciprocity, not sacrifice. Alone love dies in imbalance. When one gives and the other only receives. When one leads and the other never stands. When one suppresses themselves to keep peace. Sacrifice is meaningful only when mutual. Too much independence creates distance. Too much dependence creates suffocation. Healthy relationships exist between autonomy and connection. Two whole individuals choosing to share, not two broken halves clinging to survive. Boundaries are not walls. They are balance mechanisms. 7. Power without humility becomes destruction. History is a graveyard of imbalance. Every empire that collapsed did so not from weakness, but from excess. Too much power, too much certainty, too much arrogance. Power without humility becomes tyranny. Humility without strength becomes submission. Balance is what turns influence into leadership. The strongest people are not those who dominate, but those who regulate themselves. 8. Freedom requires structure. Absolute freedom is chaos. Absolute structure is oppression. A life without routines drifts. A life without flexibility suffocates. Balance creates sustainable freedom. Rules exist not to imprison, but to protect energy. The paradox is simple. Discipline gives you freedom. 9. Spirituality without grounding becomes delusion. Many lose balance in the search for meaning. They reject the physical world while claiming enlightenment. They chase transcendence while avoiding responsibility. True spirituality is grounded. It integrates the material and the mystical. Balance honors both the sky and the soil. You are not just spirit. You're not just flesh. You are the meeting point. 10. Suffering is often a correction mechanism. Life rarely punishes without instruction. Most suffering is imbalance exposed. Burnout reveals overextension. Loneliness reveals disconnection. Illness reveals neglect. Conflict reveals misalignment. This does not mean suffering is deserved. It means it is informative. Balance listens. 11. Masculine and feminine energies need each other. Not gender, but energy, action and intuition, structure and flow, logic and empathy. An imbalance creates rigidity or chaos. Integration creates strength. The world suffers when it chooses sides instead of synthesis. 12. Time is balance between urgency and patience. Rush everything, and you miss life. Wait forever, and life passes you by. Some moments demand speed. Others demand stillness. Wisdom knows the difference. 13. Wealth is meant to serve, not replace meaning. Money solves problems, but creates others when idolized. Too little creates stress. Too much obsession creates emptiness. Balance uses wealth as a tool, not an identity. 14. Self-love without accountability is self-deception. Love yourself, but tell yourself the truth. Excuse everything, and you stagnate. Hate yourself, and you collapse. Balance allows compassion and responsibility to coexist. 15. Life is a constant rebalancing. There is no final balance, only continuous adjustment. What worked last year may fail today. What nourishes now may harm later. Balance is not something you achieve. It is something you practice. So, the middle path is not mediocrity. Balance is not weakness. It is mastery. It takes strength to resist extremes. It takes wisdom to know when to push and when to pause. Life will always pull you toward excess. Balance is how you pull yourself back. Not perfectly, not permanently, but intentionally. And that intention, that awareness, is what turns survival into a meaningful life.